Yo, so guys, it is time. Welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new episode of my F1 2017 career mode. If you did miss the video I loaded earlier on today, the first part of the career mode out of Australia, I do urge you to go check it out in the card annotation in the top right hand corner of your screen. But we're here for round 2 at China, and in this video we are going to focus a little bit on the R&D and really showcase a bit more of what the game's got to offer. Like I said last time, I didn't really focus on it too much in the last episode because I already did a preview episode of it just last week around, I think it was Friday in the Ferrari. So this one is going to be a bit more in depth and a bit more of sort of dissecting the practice programs and trying to gather some R&D points to really now try and begin the development of the Force India car and really try and crack into the elite of the F1 teams. I don't know if I'll be able to do it this season, but we're going to give it a bloody good go. So here we go then, jumping into practice, and we're going to do all 5 of the practice programs, and we're kicking things off with a track acclimatization. As you can see there, off to a pretty sketchy start, making a bit of a mistake into turn 5 and getting a red gate. But other than that, we do end the track acclimatization there with a green 30-point score, so not too bad, and that one will do very nicely as we now move on to the second program. And this one, I believe, is the tyre wear test. No, this is the fuel saving test. So this one was fairly, actually quite simple. I was quite impressed. Much easier than Australia. Just saving a bit of fuel, running it in sort of higher revs, and making sure you don't take much out of the obviously the combustion of the car. Trying to keep the fuel down, keep the revs down, and still set some respectable lap times. As we then move on to the tyre wear test on the soft compound tyres. Also, very surprised how I wouldn't say simple, but it was definitely easier than I expected around a track that traditionally the tyre wear is quite extreme here at China, and done a pretty good job there of getting yet again another purple score there, this time on the tyre wear test. And then we would switch over to the qualifying performance test, and as you can see, a little bit of traffic in our way in the form of a Sauber in sort of our best lap, but it still didn't disturb us too much, and eventually we would end the qualifying test coming through the final corner, and I believe we are going to get a purple score regardless of the traffic. So pretty good pace around here. The car does feel pretty well hooked up around here, and I do like my chances. We do have I believe a few upgrades coming for the next race, but in the next one we'll obviously do some R&D upgrades and sort of maybe focus on what's going on with the car. I'm planning to do a bit of a big update for the Spanish Grand Prix. I want to try and upgrade the downforce, so maybe the front wing by the time the Spanish Grand Prix comes around. So we're going to roll on to now the final part of the practice program, which is obviously the race strategy, which is very interesting because I did actually run all 5 laps. I'm only going to show you the one where I completed the test to get the purple score, but I did actually run all 5, and based off of that, this is what your race strategy is for Sunday. So very interesting one here, but that's going to cap off practice, and the practice program is actually pretty enjoyable. You know, you can also get through them pretty quickly if you're not wanting to really go really in depth. If you just nail the first lap or the first couple of laps, and you can get through them pretty quickly. But we're now going to jump into qualifying, like I said, on the Saturday afternoon here, and we're going to jump straight into it, and hopefully it works out for us. And I did make a little comment, you'll see in a moment in the live commentary in the race start. I made a little mistake, which I'll refer to in a moment once qualifying is done. But we're going to jump into Q1 here and our best lap of the session. So here we go then, making our way into the first corner here. 8th gear, the DRS wide open, drop it a couple of gears for the first part. I turn in slightly too early, which just scrubs me out very wide for the second part of one that feeds into turn 2, and then flicking it left into turn 3. And here there's a million different lines you can take on the exit. In this case, I take a bit of a wider line, but you can go narrow, you can even go wider if you want to, as we now go through the kink of turn 4 into the heavy brake in turn 5 on the 100-meter ball down to 3rd gear, and pick up the apex, and then try and get some nice clean traction out of 5 as we now go up the hill into turn 6 and 7, the 2 best corners on the track. Are they flat out? Just about, not quite in this car. Maybe in a Ferrari or Mercedes, but here you just have to have a little bit of a lift and get out the throttle slightly through turn 6, and now through turn 7, down a couple of gears, and then into turns 8 and 9. A double apex left-hander here. 4th gear, personal preference. You can use 3rd if you want to. Then using as much of the track on exit as possible, and I'm going to go into the very sharp turn that feeds into the banking of turn 11 here. So short shifting the 3rd gear, maybe even short shifting the 4th if you want to. And there's also a million different lines you can take through here. I tend to like to bring it in quite late and quite low later on, and go in very wide on the entry. But here we go on to the back straight, one of the longest straights in Formula 1, DRS wide open. And very interesting to point out here, the car moves from left to right because of the shark fin. The lateral winds actually blow the car away in a straight line there. But 100-meter board, 2nd gear corner, brake just after the 100 if you dare, get it down to 2nd gear, and you're going to just about get the apex absolutely hooked up, no lockups whatsoever. And then through the final corner, 4th gear, avoid the boiler on the inside, use all the track available, open up the DRS, and across the line, the lap is going to be good enough for P11. And this is where the issue began. I thought I was qualified I dropped down to P16 basically, and I thought I was through because I'm thinking like this was F1 2016, but it's actually 2017. So P16 means you're eliminated, and I didn't realise, and I actually seemed ahead on the rest of the session, and then I just realised towards the end that, oh, I've been eliminated. So I've basically shot myself in the foot and I've knocked myself out of Q1, and we're going to be starting the race from P16, and that's where the issue is, because in the race I thought I put it on short qualifying, but it's actually 3-part qualifying. I just forgot to actually bet a lap. Anyway, we're now going to jump into the race for the Chinese Grand Prix. Right, so here we are then. It's race day for round 2 of the season at China. As you can see, it's wet conditions, so it's actually raining a little bit, and intermediates for the start of the race. However, it will dry as the race goes on, as you can see on the session forecast on top of your screen. We're expecting about a 50-50 race with wet to dry conditions. So first race in this game where we're going to do in these mixed conditions, and according to Lee Mather, the wet weather is very unpredictable in this game, and the weather could change at any given time, and it's not as predictable as 2016. It's completely random now, so I'm expecting the complete unexpected here. So you just got to try and be on the right tyre at the right time around here. So it's going to be a very interesting race, and I'm really excited to see how the weather holds up. But I'm looking forward to this race. Like I said, I made a small mistake in qualifying. For some reason, I don't know why, I haven't changed any of the settings, but for some reason it did a short qualifying instead of a full session 3-part qualifying. So that's basically condemned me down to P16 for the grid, which is something I didn't really want to have. So I've got my work out of this race to try and fight my way through the field in these conditions. So it's going to be a very tricky race, but I'm very much looking forward to it. So without further ado, let's jump into the race now for the Chinese Grand Prix. Right then, here we are on the grid, round 2 of the season at China. The 5 red lights are on, and they're out, and away we go. Let's have a good start here. Pretty good traction, actually. Not too bad. Just behind our teammate Esteban Ocon, I got McLaren up my inside, having a pretty damn good start. Lots of spray on my screen right now as we're going to turn for the first time. I'm going to take the outside line here, and let's see what happens. A little bit of a contact with Ericsson from the look of it, but I'm going to take the outside line here, making nice progress, getting a few positions here. A little bit of a gap found, and the wet conditions, definitely the spray looks much worse in this year's game. I think both of the Ferraris are in a 1-2. They've absolutely bolted up front. And then you've got both Mercedes and both Red Bulls. But we're side by side with, I believe, Esteban Ocon right now, who's on my inside here with my teammate. There it is. And I'm just going to get past him. Oh, that's very, very risky there. But I'm going to make the move on the brakes. Let's take it very easy here. The car is understeering quite a bit, but we've made the move. We've got a Haas on our outside who we're just going to have to leave the room. Get on the power now. We're going to settle into P12 just behind Daniel Kvyat. And there we go. We've had a pretty good start here up into 12th place. First time in the wet conditions on this game. And that was a very, very weird, not weird, but that definitely felt strange compared to 2016. The wet conditions, first time proper there, and that was definitely a unique start, let's put it that way. But we made a pretty good one out of it, and we're up into 12th place. So that experience is out of the way. Now we've got to try and see if we've got some pace in these wet conditions like F1 2016. Where in the wet I was pretty damn quick, and this was the track where I won my first race in career mode last season in the Haas in season 1. But back then I was on legend difficulty in the first season. Right now in Ultimate Arena Force India. So we're going to see how this one unfolds. There's a little bit of a screen freeze there. But right, let's try and get into rhythm now and catch these guys up ahead. And I'm going to shut up for a bit and try and get my head down. Right, straight off the bat, I'm a little bit rare anyway in these conditions, but I can still tell that the AI have been improved in these conditions, because they're definitely a little bit quicker than 2016. In 2016, once you got into a rhythm, you could actually pass the AI with relative ease in the wet conditions, but here they've improved, and they've also seemed to be quite improved through turn 1 at China, because at turn 1 in China in past games, they go so slowly, but now they're actually pretty alright through there. So we're going to have to make the move elsewhere. At the moment, I'm just starting to slowly reel in Daniel Kvyat, but I don't know if I'll pass him this lap. It's going to be very hard to get past him, and like I said, the slipstream is basically non-existent in F1 now, so it's going to have to be a very good pass here to get past the Russian. Okay, this time I'm right at the back of Daniel Kvyat here. I think I could make the move possibly. I've got a nice run through the final corner. Picked up some good traction out of there. Here we go then, right on the toe of Danny. We're going to pull to the outside. He's got the inside line. Can we go around the outside of turn 1 here? It's going to be a ballsy move if I do commit to it. I've gone a little bit deep into the first part of the corner. Kvyat's going to come back at me. I'm going to try and cut back underneath him though into the second part of turn 1, and there we go, up the inside. Nice little switchback manoeuvre there, and we're up into P11. I'm getting quite a few screen freezes, which does concern me slightly, but obviously I'm playing the game early access, so the graphics drivers and all that haven't been updated yet for 2017, and maybe my PC isn't up to scratch unless I have all the software up to date. But still running pretty good, and I'm putting a solid, good enough frame, so it's not too bad of an issue, but just slightly frustrating when I'm losing a little bit of time because of it. Okay, so I've caught up to this little pack of 4 cars now, including Magnussen, Sainz, and both of the Williams being led by Lance Stroll here. So we could be starting to make some moves very soon on these guys, as I'm starting to get held up slightly. A little bit of spray on our screen right now, but here we go onto lap number 6. Can we try and make a move here into the first corner? Let's wait and see what happens as we go into their Massa's a little bit slow, I can see. I'm going to get a tighter line on Magnussen here. Magnussen just sort of pulls out my way. I'm going to make the move on him there, so that's a nice easy move on him. And we're up into P10, and now Sainz and Massa, who are going very slowly. I think the Williams not really suited to these conditions with its sort of low downforce package that the car is sort of built around. But here we go then, right behind Sainz. Can we make the move on the brakes? I'm going to have a look. Oh, just don't really have the confidence yet to really get on the brakes. It's very easy to lock up in these conditions with these cars. You've got to be so careful on the brakes compared to last year's game. So locking up also, you are going to go straight on, so you've got to be very careful because you're going to basically just take out a car. So right now we're just sitting behind these two. I'm going to try and look for the move very soon. Let's see if I can maybe have a go here into this double apex right-hander. Oh, I just thought about ever so slightly tapping the back of Sainz there, but I'm going to make a move very soon on these guys, I think, because I'm starting to find a little bit of rhythm around here, which is good. And I think I can get past this sort of train of cars, and I want to really try and get a nice move into the points and see if I can get anything out of this race. Maybe a top 7 finish, top 8, that'd be pretty nice. I'd like to get best of the rest if possible, and finish behind the 3 big teams, but we've got to work out to do that. So let's try and crack on there. Stroll is just up the road, so if we want to do that, that's where we've got to be. So here we go then, onto the back straight, picking up the toe. Massa's getting overtaken by Sainz, and I'm getting a slipstream on Massa here. Can we go? No, Massa's going to look for the inside. A little bit of contact between the two of them. I'm going to use that as a chance to go up the inside of Felipe here. Can we make the move up the inside of the Brazilian, up the inside of the hairpin, squirt the traction on, and there we go. We're past Felipe Massa, and now we've got to try and get past Carlos Sainz. Okay, I'm all over the back of Sainz. I'm going to try and go for it here. Can I look for the outside? Not quite. Bit too much of an ambitious move there. I just don't have the downforce. I mean, I'm running pretty high aero, but this car doesn't have the downforce, and the Toro is pretty good on downforce anyway. I thought I'd try and go for the spectacular, but no room through there. You notice I'm using pretty high gears because one, I'm still trying to just take it easy on the engine. There's no need to put any excessive force through it, and also at the same time I'm trying to save some fuel for the dry conditions so I can push it a little bit once they come round. So right now we're just sort of biding our time, sitting behind Sainz, looking pretty in P9, but very soon I'm going to try and make that move, and who knows, maybe by the end of this straight I might be on the back of him if I can get a good exit out of the banking here. Which I'll say that the banking is much harder this year. You can't really get the power down as early as last year's game for some reason. They seem to have really improved the sliding out, sort of like the swooping out effect, and going out into the marbles quite a lot. But here we go, we've got a toe on Sainz. I don't think we're going to go for the dive here, but we're going to get close on the brakes. Very close on the brakes, into the hairpin. Let's bring the nose back in, try and straighten the car up, get some traction on. And I want to try and pass Sainz maybe into the first corner. So here we go, Sainz had a bit of a poor exit out of there. He's going to give me the chance, he's going to give me the opening through the final corner, really squirt that rear end on, squirt the power, and here we go, we've got the toe on Carlos Sainz, personal best lap of the race. We've got a nice little bit of a momentum run on Sainz here, to the inside, into turn 1. Oh, very close, almost banging tyres. I'm just going to squeeze Sainz out there, and there we go, we're up into P8. What we've got to do now is get past Lance Stroll, and then we will be best of the rest. And we've only got 3 cars right ahead of him there, so I think that's a Mercedes and 2 Red Bulls who aren't going particularly fast. So one of maybe the car at the front's got a bit of an issue and is holding up the Red Bulls, but either way, there's maybe an outside chance of getting more than just 7th place if we get this race hooked up. And I can see it is a Mercedes who's holding up the Red Bull, so I don't know which one it is, but whichever one it is, it may be causing an issue and holding them up, and it may have a problem because the other Mercedes is miles ahead. So we'll see how that one unfolds. But right now, let's try and push on and catch Lance Stroll here. 52.6, wow, 8 tenths up. The track is drying out, and I'm starting to find a little bit of pace now in these drying conditions. So this is very good for me. These changing conditions seemingly suiting the Force India quite nicely, and I'm catching Stroll pretty fast here. So right now, the conditions are the best time for me to really get a move on here, and also I'm keeping an eye on the weather because the dry tyres are not far away. I've selected softs from my next in. I want to try and maybe go soft to the end, so that's going to be the strategy, I think. But right now we've got to focus on Lance Stroll, who's the man ahead of us here. That Mercedes is losing places, and I don't know which one it is, but both of the Red Bulls I think have now gone past the Mercedes car, so that Mercedes definitely has some sort of issue, and it actually comes into the pit lane, so we'll see who it is now when we drive past. But it's having big issues, and it's Hamilton, so it's the man who retired last race, Lewis Hamilton, having issues again with these Mercedes. That's very interesting, so I just wonder if maybe he's having to, maybe he's using a part that failed on him last race, and he's having to, maybe it's been reworked or refurbished in the factory, and they're having to reuse it or something. I'm still not 100% sure how the whole engine wear works, and if you have a failed part, or if a car part breaks on you, can you reuse it, but it'll be down on power? I'm not really sure, but Lewis was really struggling there, so he's coming, I think, presumably for another set of inters or dry tyres. I really can't tell, because the track is a bit too wet for dries from what I can tell, but I mean, I don't really know this game that well. I'm going to come in all hot into there. Oh, that was very, very close there to Lance Stroll. Could have easily gone straight to the back of him. But, yeah, I don't know what tyres or what compound Lewis is going to go on. So that's a very interesting strategy here. There's still raindrops on the screen and the track still looks wet. So I'll be very surprised if it's for dry tyres this early. But you never know. I don't really know this game as well. Okay, so I think another car's in the pit lane. My tyres are starting to go. Stroll comes in. Very interesting. So the inters are going off faster than what you would expect them to be on 2017 compound rubber. But as you can see, almost 50% on the left front. We've got a car coming out of pits here. I think it's a Ferrari, I'm going to guess. No, it's Valtteri Bottas. So he's come out. He's actually got a pit stop on me already. But he's rejoined on fresh intermediate tyres. So the AI are coming in for another set of inters, which is very interesting strategy. I wonder if I can just make a move on Bottas here, who's obviously on cold rubber. And I'm on nice toasty intermediates, and I've still got some pace on these. So let's see if we can make a move here on the works Mercedes car. Picking up the traction out of there in the slipstream. Can I make the dive on the brakes? Can I slow it down for the apex? Come on, bring it down. There we go. Onto the apex. Squeeze him out. There we go. We've gotten past Bottas. And now we're going to have to try and defend from him. But I'm glad I made that move stick, because it just goes to show that I've still got a bit of tyre life left in mine. And I think that the nice temperatures in the tyres are paying off for me. But right now, it has stopped raining quite a while ago. But the track is still wet. So really just don't know what to do now for strategy. Like, obviously, it's going to go to dries, but do I go into another set of inters? Because this track's it's not drying that fast. Okay, here comes Valtteri Bottas. He's going to try and overtake me here. He's got the run. He's got the slipstream on the brakes. I've locked up. I'm going to go very hot into the hairpin here. Bottas is going to be on my inside. Is he going to leave me the room? Just about. I'm going to go around the outside. Can I hold it? Yes, I can. Beautiful defensive driving there. Bottas giving me a good run for my money there, but I just got the traction on the better, drier racing line. But wow, that was really, really close. Luckily, we're still pointing in the right direction. Right, Bottas is going to come in the slipstream again, but there's no DRS yet, so he can't really make the move. He hasn't got that much straight line speed. Like I said, the slipstream is very minimal in this game, so it's hard to make the moves and you can get really frustrated behind a car. But here we go then, into the first couple of corners, holding P5 at the moment. I'm just waiting for it to dry out so I can go into dries, because I really don't want to go into another set of intermediate tyres here. Oh, tyres are starting to let go on me there. Jeez, that was very, very scary. I just went all quiet there because I thought I was going into the wall. And I'm starting to struggle here. You can actually see my tyres. I don't know if you noticed. You probably won't notice in the video, but I can actually see the tyres are like starting to grain a little bit. They're a little bit dark in like little strips and patches. So tyres are struggling now, and they're starting to scream a little bit. But I'm still going to try and continue with these, because this is my only chance of doing something strategy-wise this race. So I need to just stay out and make these work. I'm going to have to make a decision soon in terms of what I'm going to do, because my tyres are starting to near 70% on the front, and I'm starting to get in trouble. I'm doing personal best, but oh man, it's just so intense. Like, I really don't know what to do strategy-wise. It's really throwing me off. The next stop will be for dryers. Whether I time it right or not, I don't know. But the track looks dry on the racing line, so I don't know. Maybe this lap or the next. Okay, Ricardo has come into the pit lane. I think he's had enough of them intermediates. He just can't make them last. The question is, what compound will he go onto? And I think it's going to be another set of inters for Ricardo, which is very interesting. So no one's making these inters last. I'm probably going to say this will be my last lap on this compound. The track just looks too dry. I'm too tempted to go on the tyre. So this lap I'm going to probably come in for soft compound tyres, because I really just want to get off this tyre now, so I feel absolutely horrible around here. And it hasn't rained for ages, so I think now's the time. I mean, look at my tyres. I've even got, I think, rear wing damage or something. So my rear wing's orange, so I'm really starting to struggle now. Tyres are hot, you know, they're wearing. As you can see, their temperature gauges, you know, they're still somewhat within the range of the temperature. They are going up slightly, but there we go. There's the message, strategy change, so that must be the time. Even the team are starting to think now it could be time for dry tyres. So this lap, we're going to come in for soft compound tyres. Right, look at my tyres. I mean, they're absolutely gone. They're shot to bits. We're going to come in now, finally, for the dry tyres. And Wow, we've made a really good first stint there. I'm really glad we didn't come in because that would have been absolutely tragic. So we've made a good call. Now we've got to just have a good stop. Hopefully we don't hold up Esteban Ocon who's coming in behind us. So nice quick stop please boys. It's got to be nice and quick. On the clutch. Off we go. 2.8, not too bad. Ocon's going to stop straight in. I don't think he's going to lose too much time. But right. This time it's actually released the limiter properly. There we go. Now let's rejoin on the soft compound tyres. All the others are going for mediums. I remember seeing in practice that the super softs lasted 12 laps. So these are one compound harder. So that's merely my logic behind it. I hope I've made the right call and I haven't just royally screwed this one up. But right, the track does feel instantly better. But I've still got to be very careful because the conditions are on a knife edge on these tyres. So we've got to be very careful in this opening part of the stint. Okay, we've got a yellow flag on the back straight. Verstappen, who was on inters, stayed up for one more lap, has now come in for the dryers. I've actually gone a tenth faster than Bottas in the final sector, so it's working quite nicely for us right now. We're up into 4th place. Danny Kvyat out of the Chinese Grand Prix, and let's wait and see if that triggers a safety car or a virtual safety car. But right now, I'm sitting pretty in P4, and Ocon, who started, I think, way down the order, also with me, I think he started 14th. Is up into P5, so what a double recovery drive from the Force Indias so far. And Ocon obviously going to the end on those tyres, so it's all looking pretty good for Force India at the moment around here. Oh, Bottas, wait. Bottas is out of the race. He just pulled over to the side. I'm into 3rd place out of nowhere. Bottas just started to pull away from me. He was just setting the pace, and he just come out of the race. So the second Mercedes in 2 races to retire. That's 2 in 2 for the Mercedes team. So right now I'm up into 3rd place and Ocon is into P4. What the hell is going on so far this race? What a recovery from 16th to 3rd and Ocon from 14th to 4th. What a race so far for both of us. I think both of the Red Bulls have caught up to Esteban Ocon as Verstappen's gotten past him, and I think Ricciardo now is right on the back of him. Okay, so there's only a few more laps left to go now, and the lap times basically are just dropping every single lap, going faster and faster and faster and faster. I'm just driving very smoothly, just trying to set some good laps, and also defend myself from Verstappen, not let him get too close. He's about 8 seconds behind me, but I'm just also trying to save the engine at the same time, so a little bit of a balancing act at the moment, but I've got it all under control. Tyres have still got good life left in them, so I feel really confident, and I think this is going to be a comfortable P3 in the end. And I'm very surprised I'm saying that. 2 podiums in 2 races, and Ocon is going to finish in a solid P6. So double points for Force India today. And this has been a great race so far. I hope I can bring the car home, and that would be great for us in the championship. So Kimi Raikkonen wins for the 2nd time in a row. Maybe a possible resurgence for the Iceman in the 2017 season. Sebastian Vettel comes home in 2nd place for yet another 1-2 for Scuderia Ferrari. The exact same podium as Australia, which is something I never thought I'd be saying. But across the line, and it's P3 and the 2nd podium for us. And what a good race, and what a good result that was. And something I never saw coming at the start of the race when I was way down the order in P16. But overall, a really, really good and enjoyable race here today. And a well-deserved 15 points again for the championship. And that means I am P3 in the championship, which is absolutely incredible. Also, good job from Esteban Ocon there. Get himself a really decent P6 from P14 on the grid. But both of the Mercedes cars, crucially, having an absolute mare here today. Really, really just not having any sort of pace whatsoever. But overall, it's been a very good race here at Shanghai. And we're now going to move into the drivers' and constructors' standings and see also the final race results. And looking at the final classifier results, Raikkonen wins with Vettel in P2, with myself in P3, running off the podium with Max Verstappen and Ricciardo in 4th and 5th in the Red Bulls there, with Esteban Ocon in P6. Really good result for him there. Lewis Hamilton in P7 with his car damaged or not, I'm not sure. Maybe running with a possibly underpowered component. But Lance Stroll there in P8, Carlos Sainz in P9, and Kevin Magnussen rounds out the point scorers. And then also for the Drivers' Championship, and as you can see there, I'm in 3rd place behind both of the Ferraris, and then both of the Red Bulls behind me, with Bottas in 6th there, and Hamilton down in P9. So a shocking start to the season here for the Mercedes cars, and Ocon up in P7. So really good job from him there. And then in regards to the constructors, Force India in P3, Mercedes down in P4, owning 18 points. So right now we're neck and neck with Red Bull, and the target this season surely has to really try and be the 3rd best team on the grid and try and make a jump up from the 4th best team. Who will we be in the process? I don't know, but I want to try and make this team one of the top 3 and try and crack into the elite in the grid here. But overall, that has been this episode of Career Mode, guys. If you guys have enjoyed it, then please do smash the like button. Let's see if we can try and smash 400 likes on this episode. Also, if you did miss an episode earlier today, episode 1 at Australia, there's a card in the top right hand corner of your screen, and also there'll be a link on the screen right now to go click it if you haven't missed it already. And there may be a third one later on today. If not, then episode 3 will be tomorrow. So do keep an eye out for that one, guys. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.